Football Aikido Part 1. What is football Aikido? Good question. But first, what is Aikido? Here's the definition of Aikido. Aikido, Japanese Aikido, way of harmonizing energy, martial art and self-defense system that resembles the fighting methods jiu-jitsu and judo in its use of twisting and throwing techniques and in its aim of turning an attacker's strength and momentum against himself. Pressure on vital nerve centers is also used. I have some friends who have studied Aikido for many years. I learned some of the philosophy and practice from them. What I loved was the principle of turning an attacker's strength and momentum against himself. I thought about a football game that uses these same principles. Image: a defense tries to rush in, and the offense used the defense energy against him. These 8 the principles of Aikido. You use the opponent's force against them. Here's a short philosophy of Aikido. Aikido has but one principle: the universal reality of life. In their own nature, living human beings all possess the basic secret of Aikido. The purpose of Aikido is to better people's lives, to make their spirit blossom and become strong, and by making better people make a better world. If you replace Aikido with the quantum field, you then have a modern-day word. This book was inspired when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I had a flash of inspiration and saw this book in written form. So far as I know, this has never been done in football before. Football has always been a clash of push-pull energy. He who has the greatest energy usually wins the game. It is usually brute force. What if we change the course of things? Imagine the defense is rushing in with full force. The offense takes the power and uses it against them. The defense falls to the ground and wonders what in the world happened. This happens over and over again. In the quantum field, if a person is aggressive, you can transmit that aggression back to that person. You don't have to accept it. Suppose someone gets angry. Usually, the other person will respond with anger back. This is what we do every day. It's quite a kindergarten. The wise man won't say anything but smile. He has nothing to prove. The wise man has gotten over his ego and smiles at life. These same principles can be used on a football field. It's taking the quantum field and understanding these universal principles. In my eyes, the team that has a higher understanding of these principles will be the team to beat. The Kansas City Chiefs many times throughout the season were in the zone. At times they were so far behind the opponents thought the game was over. Yet each time they came from behind and won the game. Imagine if they could take this to the next level. How about if they could consciously learn how to be in the zone? What would happen if they learned Aikido and used the opponent's force against them? That would bring them to a much higher level than they are today. Going vegan. When you think of a professional football player's meal, what do you think? Probably a huge piece of steak. This has been a standard for probably half a century. This has been the norm in the sports world. Yet some players and teams are thinking outside of the box. Take for example the Tennessee Titans. Here's an article I found. It was written by Ella Brown. Did the Patriots lose to a bunch of vegans? The New England Patriots lost last night to the Tennessee Titans in the first round of the playoffs. A team where the majority of the players have been on a plant-based diet for the past few seasons. And a team that swears by the diet to keep them in tip-top physical shape. The Titans players who are on the vegan diet say that that's why they were able to make it to the playoffs for the first time in the decade back in 2018. Sounds crazy, I know, but is that the reason why the Patriots lost last night? In 2018, 11 players on the TN Titans went vegan. Last night, they beat the 6-time Super Bowl champions because they outplayed them, out-hustled them, and maybe they had a better pre-game vegan meal. I learned about the Tennessee Titans and their plant-based diets from the Netflix documentary, The Game Changers. It's a documentary that showcases top athletes from across the world who are on plant-based diets. The documentary also goes into the science of why athletes who are on a vegan diet are outperforming athletes who are not on a plant-based diet. In the documentary, they follow the Titans and how the vegan journey all started with the outside linebacker, Derek Morgan. He was the only one on the team not eating meat, but his wife is a chef. After games on Sundays, he would invite members of the team over to their house to eat a post-game meal. At first, the teammates made fun of him for eating vegan, but then they tried it themselves and they loved the way it tasted. After just a couple of weeks on the new plant-based diet, they were playing better than they ever had played before, and it looks like they haven't turned back since. But let's take a look at TB12. Tom Brady eats an 80% vegan diet. That's easy to learn if you've picked up his book, The TB12 Method. Most of his diet consists of organically grown fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Ding ding ding. That's a vegan diet. So, is a lack of fruits and vegetables the reason why the New England Patriots aren't going to win a 7th Super Bowl? Brady is still the GOAT, but he can't do it alone. If I were the Patriots, I'd pick up the TB12 method and start reading it before next season rolls around. And I'd also take a few pages from the plant-based book of the Tennessee Titans. Disagree? Meditation. You may wonder what meditation has to do with football. Isn't that an oxymoron? Yet meditation is the foundation for life. Behind your breath is the power that is keeping you alive. Here is a small list of its benefits. Help reduce stress. The less stress you have, the more aware you will be. Increased concentration. A player will be more aware of the playing field. Move into a higher brainwave state. Most people's standard brainwave state is high beta. This means that cortisol is constantly being secreted in the body. They can't shut it off. Over time, this causes many different kinds of diseases. The disease occurs when the mind, body, and soul are not at ease. Better timing. Time can seem to move a bit slower. Can you imagine if you could respond just a fraction of a second ahead of your competitor? You would have an advantage. Imagine if the entire team could do this. Wow. Enter the zone and quantum field. The team that can enter the zone consciously will have a huge advantage. How did the Sea Chiefs come from behind so many times during the playoffs? The opposing teams thought the game was over. Yet, within minutes, the Chiefs came from behind and won the game. In a meditative state, one learns how to turn an attacker's strength and momentum against himself. Mind, body, and soul are in sync. Decreased chatter of the mind. Can you imagine playing a football game and the mind is like a swarm of mosquitoes? It is constantly biting you. Football games can be won or lost due to your state of mind. You are your own master chemist. Your body and state of mind is a reflection of what you think on and off the football field. Meditation is the door to rewire the hardware and software. Meditation teaches one to be cool, calm, and collective. Do a Google search for Jerry Lopez. During the early 70s, he learned about Zen. He was an incredible surfer for his time. He surfed a spot called the Bonsai Pipeline. At that time, it was the most dangerous wave known to man. Jerry was the Zen surfer who was cool, calm, and collective, surfing the most dangerous wave on Earth. The average person would die or get seriously injured if they tried to do what he did. Sidestep danger. Meditation helps you to sidestep danger. This could be used on and off the football field. Increase intuition. The team that has increased intuition will win the game. If you can sense what your opponent is going to do, you have a greater advantage. Football is so much more than just the physical aspect. The mind, body, and soul must be in sync.